line finish. We also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm ready. Powell Gene, Gene at yahoo.com. 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Howdy, folks. RL here to tell you about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen Silver Springs has been serving yummy foods and ice cream made fresh to order for 46 years. Their gift cards are perfect for those you love for any occasion. Our ice cream cakes are awesome. And as far as grilled foods, DQ does it right. From grilled chicken to our famous foot-long chili dogs. So come on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Listening to WOCA, the source, WOCA Ocala, AM Ocala Live, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the currently shut down Paddock Mall, except for the foods courts tents that are out there doing a little drive-through, non-contact type of food court action, as we are streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio, as we are now 20 minutes before the top of the 10 o'clock hour. In the studio, I have Lena Williams from Hiers, Baxley. As we know, we brought her in here in the beginning to talk about community events and all the cool stuff that's happening within the community. As we've adjusted that a little bit, as it's changed, as we've adapted, knowing that most all the community events are suspended or canceled, obviously in lieu of novel coronavirus COVID-19. But as we did last week, we brought her in here and we were talking about kind of like the idea of just what's going on in the community as far as like good things that are, you know, helping things out within the community and stuff people can look forward to do that. So it's good to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah.
So, as we said, there isn't that much going on, but we have been talking about the Riley Arts Center doing their live broadcasts of performances. So, I was perusing their website. If you're interested in checking that out, it's www.rileyartscenter.com/live, and they have archived all of their broadcasts. So if you missed the live performance, you can now go back and you can watch or rewatch any one of those. So that's a really cool way to spend an evening with some live music streamed into your home.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Shoot, right there.
Yeah,
right,
they have a good variety of things, you know. They have Adam Volp and the Voltron Collective, if you're looking for something kind of experimental.
Yeah.
They have, you know, Just Joel, some acoustic kind of music. They have Stuart Kitts doing a violin recital. They have Keith Northover and Brian Hargrove and their piano and clarinet. And they're playing actually on the Riley's 9-foot Yamaha concert grand piano, which was actually once owned by Yanni.
Oh, is that right?
Isn't that cool?
Oh, that is pretty neat.
Yeah, it's a neat little, anecdote. They also have a really fantastic performance by Left on Broadway. And if you stay tuned to the end of that performance, Olivia Ortiz does a really fantastic solo rendition of Ave Maria dedicated to her husband. It's really lovely.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, You can check out all those kinds of just a variety of musical performances, and they have more to come.
Yeah, that's pretty good, and that's a little different. I think with now having been hunkered down for weeks on end, you might do this too. As far as like Netflix goes, it gets to a point where you're like, "What do I want to watch?" and you end up scrolling, and then nothing really catches your eye, or you just like, I'm not in the mood for the movie, not necessarily in the mood for that show. The next thing you know, you've been scrolling for like 2 hours, and you're like, "Ah, hell with it." So like adding some variety, but thinking about some other things that are out there that you could look up and stream, and something that's on the different type of cuff. Like we said, something that's the feeling in watching sometimes live music is pretty neat for anybody who's gone to those shows too. Like you said, with the archives, can pull them up and say, "Hey, I was at that show," and be neat to watch again. You know,
it's
kind of
really
reminisce.
cool.
That's a heck of an
really
idea.
Neat. And it's a nice way to have some background music playing, you know, because it is hard when you're just sitting on your couch. It feels like same old, you know, even new show, different day, but you don't feel different. So, you know, the Ocala Drive-In Movie Theater is still open for business. So if you're looking to get to the actual big screen again, but you're looking to also retain your social distancing protocol, then you could always attend something along those lines.
That's right. The Ocala Drive-In Theater, as the few movies that they got playing, they still got a little bit. So they got the movie The Hunt, Sonic the Hedgehog, Doolittle, and The Other Lamb, which I'm not sure The Other Lamb.
Interesting. I've never heard of that. So Doolittle is a new version, I guess.
Yeah, with Iron Man there with Tony Stark.
Okay, of the old standard.
Robert Downey Jr. Yep. And then The Hunt. That one's a little crazy with the idea of you see the premise for that one. Mm-mm. It was pretty much just then I think hunting humans or something crazy like that. Yeah. And then Sonic the Hedgehog. That throws me back. That's way back in the day. Old 32-bit Sega Genesis playing Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, I don't know how they made a movie out of that.
But I heard it's pretty good. Jim Carrey, one of my favorites, is in it.
Oh, I love Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. He's very funny.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So yeah, like you mentioned, that's at the Ocala Drive-In. That's going on and everything else. I don't think they've updated what they have coming up to be played, just those four for right now. So.
Well, if you're looking for some old school entertainment, the Marion County Public Library system is limited to census completion only to go inside the building. However, if you pre-request material, you can do drive-in curbside service for any book that they have in the library. So if you are looking to, find some time to start reading, if there was that book you were always hoping to try, now's a really great time. So you can contact and request material via telephone or at library@marioncountyflorida.org if you want to email them.
That's pretty good, because I'm sure a lot of people are under the expectation, well, if there's a book, I need to buy it on Amazon or something like that. No, this is still an opportunity, and you could probably get quite a few books knocked out with this, with the time that we have and everything.
Man, I know I've been doing a lot of reading.
Have you?
I've had some time now finally to sit down and really enjoy some of the things that I'd had on my wish list for a while. So I've been really excited about it.
That's pretty good. I actually got a couple on my list that I want to look. There's one I need to finish that I started at the beginning of the year, The Alchemist. And then there's a couple others I wanted to go back that I haven't read in a long time, but it just feels like it's time to read them again.
The Alchemist is really good. I really liked it. Interesting parable.
Yeah, and it actually helped me my decision to go ahead and do this. Step into this arena. Yeah, it's kind of neat. But I need to finish it because I haven't had the time to. But then I was thinking of like some other classics that I never got to that would be worth it now. Because when I was younger, I think we talked about this a little bit before, maybe even off air. It kind of felt like when I was growing up, I was a little bit more forced, or felt like I was forced to read.
Yeah.
We had a program within school that made it more of like a mandatory thing, and it wasn't always necessarily something you enjoyed, or the categories you enjoyed to read with some of the books. So now that I'm older, I'm thinking about how now I'm interested. Now I'm interested in going back and getting into some of the classics, considering some of the ones I even read when I was younger it's still, from what I heard, worth going back. It's like kind of watching a movie that you've always thought as a classic, but when you watch it at different times in your life, you may have a different onlook to it. Same thing with a book.
They have some of these, like, they're calling them modern classics. It's the ones that are going to kind of enter the canon and become the gold standard, but they were written, in the past 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
And those kinds of texts are really great, too, to explore. I used to be an English teacher, so, I kept up with all that stuff. You want to keep your syllabus really modern.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to grab people's attention so they don't end up feeling like you're feeling, because if they're reading a bunch of stuff they're not interested in, it's a great way to make them think they don't like books when really they just don't like the books their teacher liked.
Right. And it almost comes back to like learning piano too. It's like, I think if piano was even that lesson too, where it's like, we're going to learn this really cool song, instead it's like, let's work on our fundamentals and go back to Bach and Mozart and all that crap.
Yeah, and if you're just drilling constantly, you have to tap into the things that you love. I know this is something a lot of parents are thinking about right now with the, distance learning that's happening right now in Marion County. I know what a challenge it is. It's a challenge for the teachers too. How do you, when you don't have the children there with you to capture their attention and your enthusiasm, it's not as infectious over email or over Zoom as it is when you're in the classroom. So how do you get kids engaged? And parents are looking for ways to fill their children's time. The Marion County Library has that really great opportunity. Also, PBS, the public broadcast station, starting today, is going to be dedicating daytime weekday schedule 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. to include specific blocks of time for pre-K through 12th grade reading levels. The programming will feature English language arts, social studies, science, and math, and all of the programs will be aligned to the Florida educational standards. So that's a really great opportunity.
Yeah.
If you're looking for some expert guidance, somewhere to tune in for a little bit of help, that's a great place to look too.
Real quick too, kind of going back to the ideas of books, when you mentioned kind of keeping it more within the 20 years, just more books, like what are some for those listening?
Well, if you're thinking for, the classics, especially if you think of, classic war novels, you think, Red Badge of Courage and things like that, Les Mis, if you're thinking about the French Revolution. And those are really, I find the barrier with students is not the stories, but the language. Okay. And so if you can find a really compelling story that's written in the language that we use today, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That older, more antiquated language is kind of best read with somebody who can guide their understanding. But if they're reading alone, there's no reason you have to aim that old. If you're looking for, classic novels on war, you have Kurt Vonnegut's Slaughterhouse-Five about his experience as a prisoner of war during the firebombing of Dresden in World War II.
Oh, wow.
The Things They Carried is by Tim O'Brien. It's one of my personal favorite books I've ever read. It's about his experience being drafted into the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
So, Killer Angels is a really great retelling of the Civil War through a study of the letters between generals. It tells the sides of the North and the South. It's really, well written, smartly executed, gives you a really great picture.
Yeah.
And, fiction is a great window into real world experiences. Those kinds of things are a great access point. You have a compelling story, a character you're emotionally invested in, but you have an author also who's done their research, who has the lived experience of being a veteran. Tim O'Brien's book, The Things They Carried, is based on his personal experiences. Slaughterhouse-Five is based on Vonnegut's personal experiences. So, they have access to the reality and the history, but they also are able to give you this kind of fresh perspective, a character that, students want to invest in what they're reading. It's much harder to invest in a textbook than to invest in a story. And so, you want something kind of narrative like that.
Yeah. What were some of the ones that you see kind of becoming, would you say, gold labeled or like?
Yeah, you have authors who are kind of just trending in that direction. So, when you think about the
J.K.
new kind
Rowling.
of classic canon, you think of people like O'Brien. War novels are kind of a go-to because they're such a historical flashpoint for people. But there's things outside of that too. You have new kind of voices entering the spectrum, people of color like Toni Morrison, writing some interesting kind of neo-slavery slave narratives about just about some things that are maybe the uncomfortable part of the history of our nation, but also something that merits thinking about from a human perspective. And I think, their eyes are watching God. You have Zora Neale Hurston here from Florida, who writes beautifully like that. If you're looking for other things that are, local history, there's some really great stuff for that too. You can read anything by Marjorie Keenan Rawlings. We've all heard of The Yearling, but, she also wrote a novel called Cross Creek. There's a variety of different things you can look into from that perspective. And when you're thinking about new modern classics, you think like Karen Russell. She wrote a novel called Swamplandia set in the Everglades. Really cool, really interesting.
Yeah.
So you have a variety of options you can go with,
Yeah.
And if you're a parent and you're looking for, what's appropriate for my child's age range, one of the things I recommend is, if you're looking for younger kids, then look into books that have won the Caldecott Award. They're great for younger students. An author I would always recommend is Roald Dahl. You said you're reading The Alchemist. It's kind of the adult Roald Dahl. It's all parable based about moral lessons. And Dahl's really great at that. You can get a lot of different authors working. If you're looking for, older students or for yourself, you can look into not only who's won the Pulitzer, but also people who have been shortlisted for the Man Booker Award and things like that. If you're looking for those ones that kind of have the imprimatur of the elites, of the who's who in literary circles, but they're kind of who decides who's going to become a classic, and so when you're looking for those standards, you can kind of go that way.
That's kind of good, because here's the thing is, like, a lot of people just know classics, and they've considered classics just because a lot of people think is they're old. So you're thinking all the ones we had, To Kill a Mockingbird, Of Mice and Men, The Great Gatsby, all those just stand out as like, okay, but at one time when they were written, they had to be kind of chosen to have that direction. Not only that, because they're good, they're written well and everything else.
And they stick around because they have this kind of indelible characters, these unforgettable moments. Of Mice and Men has the most unforgettable ending of any novel I can think of. It's devastating, and it's beautiful in play form.
Yeah.
Also written by Steinbeck, the stage adaptation of that text. That's always interesting when they take it from one genre to another, you know. And plays are a fun way if you're looking to engage with your child, there's nothing better than sitting down and assigning characters. And, that's what you do in class is you assign the characters and you read aloud. That's something you can do at home too.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And that gets an opportunity because maybe it's more comfortable environment and gets them speaking out loud, but then doing different things that's not the norm is, like we said, just kind of sitting in front of the computer or anything like that. That's all pretty good. Yeah,
it's interesting. You can get creative. You can always get creative.
Yeah.
So
what else you got, honey?
Well, on a local note, one of the things we talk about a lot is what our nonprofits in our community have to offer us for entertainment and all of the things that they can do to enrich our lives and our experiences. And now we're in a time where those nonprofits are relying on us to enrich their life and to allow them to keep helping other people. And so there's a lot of need in our nonprofits right now. And so especially our local food pantries are running low. Interfaith Emergency Services, they provide a food pantry for those they service, but they also do the Food for Kids, which is feeding students on the weekends that the Marion County School System's grab-and-go lunches aren't able to service during that gap time.
Right.
They really need all the help they can get. The Salvation Army, Brothers Keeper, St. Teresa Social Services, if you live out in Bellevue, all of them operate really fantastic food kitchens, and they really could just use some help. Same with Marion Senior Services, who does a lot of home delivery to people who are elderly and homebound. They could really use donations of food and of toiletry items. And so if you're looking for a way to contribute, from a distance, even having something delivered to those locations, they could really use your help.
Gotcha. And how would someone go about doing that?
Well, you would contact those businesses directly. Another really fantastic resource is the Community Foundation here in Ocala, Marion County. If you go on the community, ocalafoundation.org, the Community Foundation's website. You can find a list of nonprofits and their immediate needs along with their website and a contact phone number. And it's an extensive list, and it tells you what they need. You know, the 911 cell phone bank needs educational services assistance. The AMA International Foundation is looking for hygiene items, food bank assistance, non-perishable foods. ARC of Marion County needs hygiene items, payroll assistance for essential employees. There's a lot of need right now of places that do incredible work for our community, and you know, it's time to pay it forward, pay it back.
Right. And that's incredible too. So the communityfoundation.org, and we can find an appropriate list where people can kind of scroll through and find one that'll in a way tickle their fancy.
Is lengthy.
Yeah.
You know, if you're looking for inspiration too, there's nothing like getting on this list and just scrolling through and just seeing, you know, how many resources we have here.
Yeah.
And how grateful we should be for, because a lot of the services they provide are invisible to us day to day, and now we're facing this kind of crisis situation, and you see them really stepping up to the plate and asking us to step up too and help support them. You know, it's not just when they're throwing a really fantastic weekend fun for your family event. It's got to be more than that.
And I think you nailed it, because until I really took the position here as host, did I really know that there was so many more avenues within the community there for doing good.
So many.
And like you said, kind of the underground. And like you said, it's not until they put on an event that then they're spotlighted for a moment, but all the stuff they do leading up to and then thereafter that event. So that's something too, just to take a moment and, you know, change the derogative of your day to go to the communityfoundation.org and see what you can do to help. And like we said, just trying to get through this, like I said, tumultuous time of hanging around doing our part, but staying, you know, so secluded and everything. And then just having more time on our hands, we can start to educate ourselves a little bit and see what else is out there within the community for sure.
Yeah. And there's, you know, animal rescues listed as well. So there's a variety of, you know, it isn't just other people that you can support. You know, our community is made up of the whole spectrum of the ecosystem, you know, and so you want to make sure that you are providing for those causes that are close to you. You know, if you scroll through that list, you're going to see names you recognize, maybe an organization that's helped you or helped someone you know or someone you love, and you want to be able to show them your appreciation, show them what you can offer. And so if you go on there, you can give them a call and help them out.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, that brings us to the top of the 10 o'clock hour here. Do you want to hang around for a little bit longer after the break? And then we'll carry it on. As you're listening to WOCA Ocala, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, and we'll be back after the break here, and stay tuned because we'll be rolling with some good conversation and some good radio. You're listening to 96.3 FM, The Source, WOCA.
I'm Chris Foster. Vice President Pence holds a video conference this morning with governors about coronavirus response. There are 9 states without stay-at-home orders.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says his state has had success without an order.
Beating and slowing the spread more than in some states that have actually had a stay-at-home order.
President Trump says his administration will intervene if there's a massive outbreak in a particular state.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The British Prime Minister is hospitalized.
Boris Johnson's office saying the Prime Minister was taken to the hospital last night for tests 10 days after he tested positive for the coronavirus. Downing Street describing persistent symptoms, including a high temperature. Officials calling the hospital trip a precaution. One of his cabinet ministers insisting this morning that Johnson is still very much in charge.
Fox's Simon Owen. 60 countries report more than 1,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases. America's listening to Fox News.
Okay, Marcus commercial, take 1.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD. Wait, there's a typo. A no penalty CD? That can't be right.
No, that's right. No penalties. All right, take 2.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7%. 1.7%?
Let's just get through the script, okay? Take 3.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7% on your money. There are no penalties if you withdraw your balance early. Come on, man. Even if you withdraw your balance early?
Look, if you're not going to read the script, I could just do it myself.
Okay. With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7% for 7 months on your money. There are no penalties if you withdraw your balance early, and you keep the interest you earned. Wow, really?
Yes.
Sign up for a no penalty CD today. You can money with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Learn more at marcus.com.
$500 minimum balance required to earn stated annual percentage yield, which may change before account is funded. May withdraw full balance beginning 7 days after funding. Rates as of March 20th, 2020. Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
Fertilizer. Also on BOGO, blueberry bushes. Buy one, get one free. So hurry on up to Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. Don't hunker down. Come on down to the bright and airy 5-acre garden on Southeast 38th Street. Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, in the same blooming place since 1952.
I'm Jan from Palm Garden. The well-being and safety of our residents is our top priority and at the heart of every decision we make. There are no visitors permitted in our center, but family members are encouraged to reach out by phone or Skype, Facebook or FaceTime. Everyone is screened daily and wears a mask. New guests are tested and quarantined for 14 days. The response to these measures has been overwhelmingly positive. Thank you for your support and partnership. We are Palm Garden.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention and God bless America. WOCA.
After a passing morning shower, we will see a blend of clouds and sun for today. High 79 to 81. Partly cloudy night. Low tonight 63 to 69. For tomorrow, warmer with partial sunshine. High 86 to 89. Tuesday night, mainly clear with a low 64 to 68. Wednesday, clouds and sun. High 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
We are proud to announce the Conservative Watch Hour on WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM every Friday at 11 a.m. Hosted by Annie Marie Delgado, president of Trump Team 2020 Florida, and her co-host Ann Vandersteel with SteelTruth.com. We are serving a higher level of excellence, and we are the only program of this type in this market. Don't miss your weekly dose of conservative talk radio. WOCA 11 a.m. Fridays, 96.3 and 1370 a.m.
Ocala, quick minute news. At least 221 people in Florida are dead from the coronavirus. The Department of Health says there are now more than 12,000 cases. Another death on a cruise ship is being blamed on the coronavirus. A person on board the Coral Princess died this weekend at a hospital in Hiers. The coronavirus has many thinking about their finances. For the growing number of Floridians finding themselves out of work, they're trying to figure out how to pay bills that keep coming in.
The good news is that if you work with your lenders, there are crisis response programs with Experian and the credit reporting companies and lenders. They'll protect that credit history.
Experian's Rod Griffin says people who claim forbearance will be able to delay payments for weeks and possibly months. For your Ocala Quick Minute News, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA, putting the local back into radio.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available and the newest medical shoes and accessories. Every medical provider should look as great as the care they provide. Scrub Paradise is just off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival in Ocala. Stop by today or give them a call at 352-873-4368. That's 352-873-4368.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Howdy, folks. RL here to tell you about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen Silver Springs has been serving yummy foods and ice cream made fresh to order for 46 years. Their gift cards are perfect for those you love for any occasion. Our ice cream cakes are awesome. And as far as grilled foods, DQ does it right. From grilled chicken to our famous foot-long chili dogs. So come on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Hello, I'm Mark Hiers with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
Back. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall. Streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA The Source Radio. As we are making our way through this Monday, this beginning of the week, first full week of April. As it's the first full week of April, it is Holy Week, because we got Good Friday on Friday, leading into Easter. Mm-hmm. As it was just Palm Sunday, and I was saying earlier in the show, I called my grandparents to check up on them, and they're up in Ohio. They're in their 80s, and they really look forward. I think that's one of the reasons they enjoy, because they would do half the year in Ohio, half the year in Florida. They're a little bit older now, so they kind of sold the property they had down here, and they just come down for a quick visit. But I think that's why they would wait till when they did or go back earlier, so they could be up there in Ohio, especially for this week with Easter, because not only that, my grandmother's birthday's coming up, but it's interesting when you experience the seasons and you go from the winter to this spring to this like rebirth. But then, for a lot of Christians out there and they're Catholic, it's just a really beautiful buildup. That's something that they've always looked forward to, and not until I got older do I really understand that, right? Because as you're a kid, you're like, it's all about the Easter basket.
Yeah,
it's all about the chocolate bunny, and stuff like that. So for a lot of people I know going through this week, it's going to be a different mindset for them. It might be tougher for them. They said on the media that this is going to be a tough week, just dealing with the pandemic in itself, because they're expecting numbers to continue to grow. And this is one of those pivotal moments where if we can contain the spread, we might be seeing ourselves through it sooner than later. But what's the word we used off air there from the book that you mentioned? The way to describe this was
aggressively boring.
Aggressively boring to deal with, so to speak, and so true. But with that, I think everybody's going to have a different mindset going through this week and everything. The interesting thing is we've got a little roller coaster of weather expected, which changes some of the emotions, if you will. But nonetheless, it's April, and I think everybody in the beginning of February was thinking, man, April, that's going to be a great month. And now here we are, we're in it, and it still can be, because this might be the means to an end, and we're just going to hope it for that way. But with that being said, it's also to the idea of what to look forward to, like I said, with some Easter and still maybe getting some Easter basket stuff. Now, when you think about being a kid, what was one of the things you look forward to having in the Easter basket?
I love the egg hunt.
Yeah?
My family, my cousins, and all of us would get together, and I think I like it more as an adult than I did as a kid, but get really creative about how you hide it. You got to get really make it a challenge, put them somewhere unusual, tape them to an animal, kind of stuff, you want to make it so it's a little bit harder to get. You want to really challenge. I really always enjoyed that. And of course the food, I'm a food holiday person.
Yeah.
If there's a meal attached to it, I'm enthusiastic. So
now, what was the go-to main meat or course that was for your family
so
meals?
Typically we for Easter would have lamb.
Yeah.
So, and I love it.
Yeah. And we always did ham. But as I grew up, I was like, we need to start implementing more lamb. And every now and then for Easter, I would make that. And it's really, really good.
I love it.
Now, when it came to the Easter basket when you were a kid, what was some of your favorite candy that you wanted to see?
Well, I like York peppermint patties. I know they're not everybody's thing, but I love them.
Yeah.
I also like Almond Joys, but I don't like the almonds. I just like the milk chocolate and the coconut. But the Mounds, it's dark chocolate, and it's just not the same.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the milk chocolate, but minus the almonds. So what do you do? Do you pick out the one
I
almond?
would pick out the almond,
Tropic Calling, the commercial that they got for Almond Joy. Did you ever like Peeps? Were you a fan of Peeps?
Oh man, marshmallows are disgusting. They're so bad. Yeah, I don't know. People love it, and I'm here for it. But
you're not. I'm not gonna shock rock you for that, because at the end of the day, I've been finding out more and more people don't like marshmallows,
and
it's one of those things. And maybe from where I came, it was just one of those things. Marshmallows were just a part of everything that you just enjoy, because it's sugar, it's fluff, it's amazing, but not for everybody. It's a textural thing.
They're texturally offensive.
And texturally offensive.
They are.
And
styrofoam.
And there's a spectrum too when you go through like cereal marshmallows to like regular marshmallows you put on a s'more.
See, now a cereal marshmallow, I can handle that a little better because it's a little bit more like a rock.
Yeah, it's
crunchy. But
Yeah.
man, those Peeps, they're styrofoam city, man. They're terrible.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say. I liked them. I think what I liked about them was the coating of sugar on the outside.
That's delicious.
Is what it was. But you had Peeps. Now you're probably a big fan of chocolate too, though.
I love chocolate.
You love chocolate. Now, it always felt though that there was really good chocolate around Easter, and then there was always like chocolate that you would assume
chocolate?
that was just not holding up its end.
So bad, yeah.
But just because it was in the shape of a bunny or a cross or an egg, that it was put in a basket.
Well, it gets that special melted, then re-solidified kind of texture going, too, a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
now, one of the big things for a lot of people with Easter baskets, and I was jelly beans. I love jelly beans. Yeah. No,
I don't care for jelly beans, but I'm in the minority on that. I'll take the hit on that. I know people love jelly beans, but jelly beans.
Now, and then I like the old classic jelly beans that were the big fat ones with the green, the white, the red, the orange, the black, which were always black licorice. No. Every once in a while. And then if anybody ever wants to know what Jägermeister is like, that's exactly what it is. It's a black jelly bean, liquefied. But then, as I got a little bit older, then they had, of course, the gourmet jelly beans, the Jelly Belly jelly beans, which are delicious if you get the right ones and you can mix them the right way. But hands down, favorite jelly beans, Starburst. Jelly beans.
That sounds good.
Delicious. Now the Jelly Belly jelly beans, they always made it to where you could mix certain flavors, like if you got the peanut butter and then the grape jelly one, peanut butter jelly sandwich. One of the worst ones is buttered popcorn was always the one that was Now they had one that was toasted marshmallow, which is really good.
You like that one?
That one's pretty good. And then, you could put together a lemon, what was the other one? A peanut butter or something. There's basically, if you mixed like 5 jelly beans, it tastes like one bite of like a lemon meringue pie.
Oh, cool.
Toasted marshmallow, lemon. There's another one in there, and then one other, and it's like you're pretty much eating. That's what I like.
Have you tried any of the Harry Potter jelly beans, the ones that have the gross flavors too?
The gross flavors. I had none of them stand out in my mind where I remember though, but. I remember they were huge. That was like when the first or second movie had started. They had those going pretty hardcore. But some of those I've had. I remember trying one. One, it was called Dragon's Breath or something like that, and it was literally just like it's like somebody put Tabasco in a jelly bean.
Oh, gross.
It was intense. It was intense to say the least.
Wow.
But crazy nonetheless. Now, since I got you here, I thought I'd go ahead and do. I thought I'd move into the segment since I got you here to bounce it off a little bit on this day in history.
Okay.
Which is a new segment we've been doing here now for a little while, and it's pretty good because it's one thing that I can roll fairly well by myself, but I've got quite a few of them today, and there's some really interesting stuff on here. So, as we're going to take it to, and that's when we come back from the bottom of the 10 o'clock hour, we'll continue them too, because there's quite a few here today. But on this date in history, April 6th, beginning in 1909, the first men to reach the North Pole. It says, on this date, April 6, 1909, explorers Robert E. Peary and Matthew Henson claimed to be the first men to reach the North Pole. On this day in 1909, they established Camp Jesus, allegedly within 5 miles of the pole. There is a large amount of controversy over this claim for a number of reasons, including no independent verification and discrepancies in his journal. It says even looking at those societies who accepted or did not accept his claim makes it difficult to know for certain. So as it's mentioned, on this day in history was the first men to reach the North Pole, but it's still under controversy.
Wow.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people are thinking, what do you mean, first men to go to the North Pole? There's been elves, and Santa's been up there for years, nonetheless. But this has been fascinating as we've played a lot of April on this date in history when it comes into 100 years ago, in the beginning parts of, if you will, the 20th century. Is 1917, America finally enters World War I.
Wow.
It was on this date, 1917, following the sinking of the American liner, how do I say this right? Housatonic, by a German U-boat, although I thought it was the sinking of the Lusitania.
I thought so too, but it's probably one of those misconceptions that people have. The Lusitania might have come second.
It might have been, but following the sinking of the American liner Housatonic by a German U-boat and 4 more U.S. merchant ships, which then I'm sure the Lusitania made the biggest at that point. President Woodrow Wilson, appeared before Congress and called for a declaration of war against Germany, and it was on this date, April 6, 1917, this day, the United States formally declared war on Germany. Now, that's one movie that I'm planning on. It's on my list with all this stuff. I really want to see that movie, 1917.
Yeah.
I heard it's phenomenal. It won Best Picture for a Golden Globe. I think it won Best Cinematography, and I guess the storyline was pretty darn good to it too.
Well, I heard that, isn't that the movie that they shot in one long continuous shot?
Yes.
Which is an amazing feat of filmography. What an incredible directing, coup to have.
And then, like you said, coup to the directing, but, and then the directing to keep the actors in it for the stint.
Yeah.
It's almost like they were, it's almost like, how do you do that? You almost get them to say, hey, it's like you're on stage doing theater.
Yeah.
But just continue to roll with it, and the camera's going to go.
That's so much.
Yeah. So 1917, on this date, we entered World War I. Sometimes when I've been reading these, considering what we're going through with history right now, with this pandemic, it's funny to see how, back at certain points in history that we know that our grandparents lived through, or maybe not even that, just our parents and self. There's always something tough to go through, right? That's the old quote. Life is busy. Life is what happens when you're busy making other plans.
Yeah.
And it can happen. And I can tell you this, that's one of those things that oddly brings things together when you know the world is at war. Now, moving on, 1931. This one's a little lighter note here. On April 6th, 1931, following the growth of the popularity of radio, the first late afternoon radio serial for children, Little Orphan Annie, is transmitted and draws a huge following. Little Orphan Annie.
Aw, how sweet. That has to be the basis for the movie and the play.
Yeah. And I know for a lot of people are like, okay, but for some of the people, for some of the younger generations right now, you can go right into, when you think about the movie A Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Little Orphan Annie, they get right by the radio, and that way he can listen to Orphan Annie so he can get his clue for the Ovaltine secret thing.
It was a different time.
It was. So Little Orphan Annie, 1931 on this date. Little Orphan Annie. Moving on here, it says on this date, April 6th, 1962, 7 men have been arrested by Cuban authorities and investigated for possible spying activities. The men were all frogmen diving off the coast of Cuba, and American authorities have confirmed 7 men had been reporting missing who were diving for treasure. And it was 1962 that Cuba arrested these Americans who were scuba diving for treasure, for spying.
Oh, no.
Isn't that nuts?
Well, there was a lot of tension, you know.
Yeah. Man, oh man. That was in 1962. And when you think about, just diving, they said all frogmen off the coast of Cuba. It doesn't say how far, but there were 7 men involved, and they were accused of spying. Some of these are like almost teasers that you want to kind of look up some information later.
Yeah, you'd like to see the movie of that story,
Exactly. Did you see a new movie, Frogmen? Moving on, still in the 1960s, it says here, and this was big too because on Friday I read, obviously April, the beginning of April with Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
It was 24 hours with his, prior to his assassination, when he gave the speech to the workers who were striking in Memphis.
Yeah.
And it wasn't here for April 4th upon his date and history of assassination. But this is what's crazy, is in 1968, now 2 days after the assassination of Martin Luther King, it says the race riots continue in cities throughout the U.S. following the assassination of black civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4th. Curfews had been put into place around the country, and National Guard soldiers were mobilized to keep control. The death toll from arson attacks got up to 19, and looting and shooting continued. The cities worst affected included Chicago, Washington, D.C., Pittsburgh, and of course Detroit, and at another 75 cities around the country. And it just goes to show you right there, just a crazy, crazy time in itself.
Well, it's interesting, too, when you think about King's legacy. You know, the cities you named are all northern cities.
Yeah.
And people really thought of the civil rights movement as a southern thing, you know, a backlash against the kind of official de jure segregation of the Jim Crow laws, but, you know, the de facto segregation that was going on in the northern cities, especially post-Great Migration, and you have a lot of, you know, black communities that are being built up in those areas, and they're facing things like redlining and all other kinds of, you know, what are functionally de jure legal segregation policies, but they're just not going under the same explicit names as the Jim Crow laws. And, you know, King's legacy, it isn't something just for us here in the South. It's really something to consider, you know, nationwide.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like you said, between Chicago, D.C., Pittsburgh, you know, and of course Detroit. Moving on here a little bit as we go into the next decade of it, 1975, on this date in history, April 6, 1975, it says, inspired by the American efforts to bring Vietnamese children in need to the U.S. codenamed Operation Baby Lift. It says Vietnam Operation Baby Lift on this date in 1975 were a Boeing 747 chartered by British Daily Mail carrying 99 Vietnamese orphans landed at Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
It's on this date in 1975, inspired by the American efforts to bring Vietnamese children into the U.S. That's incredible.
Yeah,
right there.
That's amazing.
And you wonder now when you think, okay, 1975, they're babies, how old they would be now, and what impact they've had on society and stuff. You know, that's crazy to think about in its own right. You know, 40 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. On this date here in 1993, as we move ahead a little bit, and we just got a couple minutes here before the bottom of the hour, as 1993. April 6, 1993, Russian explosion. An explosion rocked a Russian nuclear weapons complex in a Siberian town of Tomsk, as it is. It says here that there's a Russian explosion that rocked the nuclear weapons complex near the weapons complex in the Siberian town.
Well, the famous one we think of always is Chernobyl.
Chernobyl,
you know?
right?
But it's amazing how easy accidents can happen, right?
That's right. And that's where, too, in the idea of this happening right next to the nuclear weapons themselves. That's insane. We're going to take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll be doing just a little bit more just to round out the few other items. We got quite a few more on this day in history, as Lena's going to stay with us, and we'll round out the show from there. You're listening to 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source, WOCA Ocala, and we'll be back right after this.
I'm Chris Foster. Vice President Pence holds a video conference this morning with governors about coronavirus response. There are 9 states without stay-at-home orders.
Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson says his state has had success without an order.
Beating and slowing the spread more than in some states that have actually had a stay-at-home order.
President Trump says his administration will intervene if there's a massive outbreak in a particular state.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland. The British Prime Minister is hospitalized.
Boris Johnson's office saying the Prime Minister was taken to the hospital last night for tests 10 days after he tested positive for the coronavirus. Downing Street describing persistent symptoms, including a high temperature. Officials calling the hospital trip a precaution. One of his cabinet ministers insisting this morning that Johnson is still very much in charge.
Fox's Simon Owen. 60 countries report more than 1,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases. America's listening to Fox News.
Okay, Marcus commercial, take 1.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD. Wait, there's a typo. A no penalty CD? That can't be right.
No, that's right. No penalties. All right, take 2.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7%. 1.7%?
Let's just get through the script, okay? Take 3.
With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7% on your money. There are no penalties if you withdraw your balance early. Come on, man. Even if you withdraw your balance early?
Look, if you're not going to read the script, I could just do it myself.
Okay. With a Marcus by Goldman Sachs no penalty CD, you get a fixed rate of 1.7% for 7 months on your money. There are no penalties if you withdraw your balance early and you keep the interest you earned. Wow, really?
Yes.
Sign up for a no penalty CD today. You can money with Marcus by Goldman Sachs. Learn more at marcus.com.
$500 minimum balance required to earn stated annual percentage yield, which may change before account is funded. May withdraw full balance beginning 7 days after funding. Rates as of March 20th, 2020. Goldman Sachs Bank USA. Member FDIC.
And sun high 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Folks, Bob Wines has been deemed an essential business and is open daily from 9 to 4:30. Bob Wines Camellia Gardens, yes, we make it more convenient than ever by providing curbside service for your purchases. Just check out the ad or go to bobwinescamelliagardens.net. Call and tell us what you'd like, and we'll deliver it to you curbside from our huge 5-acre garden on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. This week, Bob has Easy Care, Knockout and Drift Roses from just $19.95. A huge selection of citrus trees starting at just $59.99, and you get a free bag of fertilizer. Also on BOGO, blueberry bushes. Buy one, get one free. So hurry on up to Bob Wines Camellia Gardens on Southeast 38th Street in Ocala. Don't hunker down. Come on down to the bright and airy 5-acre garden on Southeast 38th Street. Bob Wines Camellia Gardens, in the same blooming place since 1952.
I'm Jan from Palm Garden. The well-being and safety of our residents is our top priority and at the heart of every decision we make. There are no visitors permitted in our center, but family members are encouraged to reach out by phone or Skype, Facebook, or FaceTime. Everyone is screened daily and wears a mask. New guests are tested and quarantined for 14 days. The response to these measures has been overwhelmingly positive. Thank you for your support and partnership. We are Palm Garden.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
WOCA.
After a passing morning shower, we will see a blend of clouds and sun for today. High 79 to 81. Partly cloudy night. Low tonight 63 to 69. For tomorrow, warmer with partial sunshine. High 86 to 89. Tuesday night, mainly clear with a low 64 to 68. Wednesday, clouds and sun. High 89 to 93. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
We are proud to announce the Conservative Watch Hour on WOCA 96.3 FM and 1370 AM every Friday at 11 a.m. Hosted by Annie Marie Delgado, president of Trump Team 2020 Florida, and her co-host Ann Vandersteel with SteelTruth.com. We are serving a higher level of excellence, and we are the only program of this type in this market. Don't miss your weekly dose of conservative talk radio. WOCA 11 a.m. Fridays, 96.3 and 1370 a.m.
Ocala, quick minute news. At least 221 people in Florida are dead from the coronavirus. The Department of Health says there are now more than 12,000 cases. Another death on a cruise ship is being blamed on the coronavirus. A person on board the Coral Princess died this weekend at a hospital in Hiers. The coronavirus has many thinking about their finances. For the growing number of Floridians finding themselves out of work, they're trying to figure out how to pay bills that keep coming in.
The good news is that if you work with your lenders, there are crisis response programs with Experian and the credit reporting companies and lenders. They'll protect that credit history.
Experian's Rod Griffin says people who claim forbearance will be able to delay payments for weeks and possibly months. For your Ocala Quick Minute News, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Pals Ocala Auto Repair fixes all makes and models. Pals makes sure that your vehicle's engine, mechanical, and electrical components are healthy at all times. Pals team would much rather see you drive to their shop for a full checkup than be towed in for a complex repair. Give Pals a call today to schedule your next service appointment. 352-414-2984. What? A nationwide warranty, 36 months or 36,000 miles, whichever comes first? Pals looks forward to servicing you and servicing your vehicle. 352-414-2984.
WOCA, putting the local back into radio.
Are you a medical provider that doesn't like to settle for the same boring scrubs? Scrub Paradise in Ocala has a wide selection of top brand scrubs with embroidery available and the newest medical shoes and accessories. Every medical provider should look as great as the care they provide. Scrub Paradise is just off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival in Ocala. Stop by today or give them a call at 352-873-4368. That's 352-873-4368.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing and tractor services, including zero-turn mowers for your fence line finish, we also offer rototilling and fence row spraying. We are family-owned and operated, licensed and insured, and farm-ready. Powell Gene, Gene, at yahoo.com, 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. Gene is a proud United States veteran.
Howdy, folks. RL here to tell you about Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen Silver Springs has been serving yummy foods and ice cream made fresh to order for 46 years. Their gift cards are perfect for those you love for any occasion. Our ice cream cakes are awesome. And as far as grilled foods, DQ does it right. From grilled chicken to our famous foot-long chili dogs. So come on down to Dairy Queen Silver Springs, where we always treat you like kings and queens.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Hello, I'm Mark Sears with Regency Printing. With over 10 years in the printing business, I know you'll find Regency Printing the place for all your local printing needs. Plus, I have fax services, mailbox rentals, notary service, U.S. mail, pack and ship, all at one convenient location, 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue. Just look for the yellow signs. Regency Printing, 789-6683. That's 789-6683. Regency Printing.
back. You're listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. As we're, good morning, everybody. We're getting your Monday started here for the week, for another tumultuous week. As it is April 6th, we're going to be moving on through to see where we can come out by Easter Sunday, right? And then be optimistic from the point of that to the end of the month and see where we can get through with the pandemic, right? As we're working through our own history in lieu of, we've been doing our new segment here, which we're going to continue on, which is on this day in history, as April 6th, as we basically finished with a little bit there. We're moving on to 2001. So it was interesting here is on this date, April 6th, 2001, the PG&E, the Pacific Gas and Electric, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It says here Pacific Gas and Electric filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy when they're unable to sell electricity to consumers for more than they buy it on the open market. The state of California, under leadership of Governor Gray Davis, bailed out the utility company.
Wow.
In 2001. Now, what's funny about that, it was just a few days ago that, or maybe it was last week, it was something to the idea about privatized utility companies in California at the time, something that had to do with electric. And basically, like, the bottom was falling out, so to speak. And here it is that they're too big to fail, right?
Yeah,
they're too big to fail.
You have to have electricity, but the question then becomes, is it a public amenity or is it a private for-profit endeavor?
Yeah, and there you go. So it's 2001, and what's funny is I then moved to California about a year after. And it was expensive out there, and you know why. It says here in 2005, moving through the decade a little bit, it says on this date, April 6th, 2005, it says here that the Prince Rainier III of Monaco dies, leaving the throne to Prince Albert II, the eldest son of Rainier III of Monaco and Grace, Princess of Monaco, American actress Grace Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big thing when the prince married her, it was outside of the royal tradition.
Yeah.
I remember that as being, big news at the time that this American actress, she gets, coronated.
Yeah, and I'm so surprised that hasn't been made into an adaptation for some kind of movie, right?
Yeah.
That just, it almost, maybe it just hasn't been well enough done with a script that's worth
it's like
committing
the
to.
Princess Bride,
Yeah.
In a different
different generation, different era,
Yeah.
right? You wonder if that'd be coming up again, so to speak, and like I said, some adaptation or something that you could see. It would be refreshing in a way, because we've
Yeah.
done so many movies, right, and repeated some of the same ones and so forth.
Well, I know there was some drama involved. I know not everybody in his family approved of the match, so I'm sure
Yeah.
it would be interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's just that alone is adding that drama to it. Might be better than even the Kardashians. As we move on to April 6th here, 2009, it says here that it was in 2009 that Obama says that the United States is not at war with the Muslim world. Having arrived in Turkey from Prague, President Barack Obama had said that the United States is not at war with Islam. This is his first visit as president to a mainly Muslim country. In speaking to the Turkish parliament, he called for a greater partnership with the Muslim world and said that the U.S. would be launching outreach programs. Quote, America's relationship with the Muslim world cannot and will not be based on opposition to al-Qaeda, he said. He told his audience that Washington supports Turkish efforts to join the EU, which that was big because the whole thing on foreign policy and the expectations of it when he took office, that one's kind of crazy.
It's an important moment, and I think that it was interesting as a youngish person, to have that articulated that way by the president because, young people aren't known for being the most politically literate, and so you're kind of guided, at least I was at that age, by whatever the big moments were, and which for me was 9/11, and so you think of, and it's a mistake to do this, you think of whole groups of people as large homogenous groups that all feel the same way and that they can either be good guys or bad guys, and that isn't reality based. Anytime you have a collection of people as large as one of the largest religions in the world, it's a mistake to paint them all with a broad brush. And so I think it was helpful for me, at least when I was young, to hear that there's a difference among people, and that I wouldn't think all Christians were the same kind of people, or I wouldn't think every American's the same kind of person. And so it was an important moment, I think.
And that broad idea too, like you said, that is, if I'm not mistaken, that is the largest religion in the world, organized religion, next to Christianity in itself. So with that in mind, it was just kind of like you said, playing on the idea that, like, hold on a minute, think rationally, that there are radicals that, like you said, paint that picture to the idea that somebody can ruin it for everybody, but not necessarily have to put everybody in that same category. Interesting. We do have a caller. Good morning, WOCA. Thanks for holding. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning. You were talking about some books earlier, and I would mention 3. April Morning by Howard Fast, and Johnny Tremaine by Esther Forbes. Talk about the run-up to the Revolutionary War and the Battle at Lexington and Concord. It's a historical novel. It has fictional characters intertwined with history. And then there was Kenneth Roberts' Northwest Passage, which talked about the French and Indian War. Again, intertwining fictional characters with history.
Yeah.
I love in particular that you mentioned Johnny Tremaine. It was one of my favorite books growing up. It's so fantastic, and he's a silversmith, right?
Yeah.
So it's really cool. I love that book. I'm glad that you bring it up. They're all really excellent suggestions.
Okie dokie. Have a good morning.
You too, partner. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Yeah, that's pretty good stuff there. Yeah, see?
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that idea that, books are a great way to teach history. We were just talking about, all these moments in history, and any one of them would make a fantastic book or a fantastic movie, something that can capture the imaginations of young people,
Yeah.
And that's what you want.
Yeah.
When I was little, I actually thought maybe I wanted to be a silversmith from reading Johnny Tremaine, and I don't even know that being a silversmith is even a job anymore, but I loved the idea, you know?
Yeah. Oh, incredible.
Dangerous, too.
Yeah. As we're moving a little bit forward there, we finished up with 2009 as we move to 2010 on this date, April 6th, 2010. It was Chinese cyber spying is revealed. It says here a complex cyber espionage network has penetrated various organizations, including those of the Office of the Dalai Lama. The so-called Shadow Network had been targeting government, business, academic computers, and the United Nations and the Embassy of Pakistan in the United States as well. Researchers say that it had been used to steal at least 1,500 emails from the Office of the Dalai Lama. And that's incredible. And it was just on this date in history that it was revealed. And how long all that was going on doesn't say here, but it was revealed that there was a complex cyber espionage network from 2010. And that makes me think, at what point then was Snowden? At what point did he come about then?
Well, Edward Snowden was... what was the date of the Chinese?
This one was 2010.
2010. It would have been about concurrent, maybe a little bit later. But Snowden's revelations were sweeping and vast and focused largely on the United States.
Yeah.
So,
and I think in that idea was a lot of that stuff bringing to light about where we're coming into technology, but also the idea of the back end of it,
of the surveillance.
Yeah, and like I said, cyber spying, and we were talking about it with Joe before too, as he mentioned. I was kind of egging him on, but he said something about putting a piece of tape over the camera on the laptop. I said, what do you do that for? Yeah, just egging him on. He's like, well, if you get hacked, they're watching you.
That's something that is difficult to grapple with. Everybody lives such a connected life. You have this internet of things. Everything you own is connected to the internet, it seems like. And so, it's just so easy for your data and your information to be trackable, even, retroactively. And so it's complicated world that we're living in.
Yeah, it was always funny too, because as we mentioned off air about the or like you did there with President Obama, and there after September 11th, is I was a senior in high school when that happened, and then it was this idea that it's like, hold on a minute, they want to pass something that lets me just voluntarily give all of my information. That's a right of privacy. That's baloney. I am not going to do that. That is my right as an American. What's that? Facebook? Oh, you want to know my address? You want to know my interests? You want to know my books? You want to know my music? You want to know pictures of people that I know? Here, it's all here.
You want to be on my phone?
Yeah.
So that you can be wherever I am. You want to target ads?
Yeah.
And all that data is, accessible, either purchasable.
Yes.
Or, by more clandestine means. It's.
Does that happen often to you a lot when you're having a conversation about maybe some item and then you scroll on your social media?
I don't personally own a smartphone.
No?
My smartphone is only my work phone, so it doesn't
is that right?
live with me all of the time. I have a flip phone. I'm old-fashioned in a lot of ways. So I think I'm a little bit harder to target. But
what brand is your phone?
It's Verizon. It's like a little, LT, whatever, flip.
Yeah.
I love that thing. I don't know what kind it is even. I'll bring it inside next time.
On this date in history, she admitted to having a flip phone.
I'm not ashamed of it, even if I should be.
As we're making our way here, rounding out the show here, just about 8 minutes before the top of the hour, and AM Ocala Live, as we'll send you off. But before we go, just a few more items to touch on here. On this date in history, as we're still in 2010, this one's kind of crazy here. It says the first U.S. citizen on the CIA's kill list. It says the Muslim cleric that is tied to the attempted bombing of a Detroit-bound airliner has become the first U.S. citizen to be added to the list of suspected terrorists that the CIA was authorized to kill. And I think what's fascinating about that is just the idea that somebody attempted to do no good, and the assumption is that they're Muslim, so they must be brown. They must be from the Middle East. They must be somewhere else. And it was that they were actually a U.S. citizen. And that's where the tides changed a little bit too, in the avenue of. You're biting your tongue there for a minute.
That's a tough one for me because your American citizenship, you have this right of due process enshrined in the Constitution, and so it becomes very complicated when you have someone who wants to violate those standards of behavior that we would want to consider, at their core American, but then by the same token, America has this obligation to stand by their justice system and procedures.
Yep, crazy. As we finish up here, 2014, on this date in history, the actor Mickey Rooney had passed away. The legendary Hollywood actor Mickey Rooney died at the age of 93, which was a life well celebrated. Rooney had started his career as a child actor and began performing before he was 2 years old. He continued to work in film as an actor up until his death. Rooney had suffered many ups and downs in his career, and at one point being one of the highest paid stars in Hollywood, only to becoming bankrupt, as well as having varying degrees of success within his 8 marriages.
Wow,
that's kind of crazy.
8 marriages, huh?
Know when to hold them, know when to fold them when it comes to marriage, partner. Some other interesting topics for today with the idea of some birthdays out there. April 6th, as some birthdays to be mentioned here, is the actor Paul Rudd is 51 years old today. I've been saying
51?
He's 51.
Wow,
man.
he looks great.
He does. He does. 51. Zach Braff from the show Scrubs, which I was a big fan of as it aired.
Funny.
I can't really find it syndicated anywhere like it used to be. It used to be on Comedy Central for a while, but great show nonetheless. Zach Braff, he is 45 years old today.
Wow.
John Ratzenberg is 73. Why does this one sound familiar?
I don't know who he is.
Billy D. Williams.
Oh, Billy D. Williams. He was in Star Wars.
Yeah, 83.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, we all need a cut, as a lot of essential places are still open, but one of the non-essentials is, as far as the human contact, is hairstylists and barbershops. We all need a cut. Well, today, I don't know where they come up with this stuff, is Cut Your Own Hair Day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
I would not take that advice.
Yeah, no.
I'll come in next week with bangs.
Yeah. That makes me think of, when we were talking stand-up off air, made me think of Dana Carvey back in the day. And he was doing stand-up, and I had memorized it for one of my classes in high school. And at that time, he was kind of a current event thing, was the O.J. Simpson and the trial there afterwards. And he was doing a bit with, who was the prosecutor? It's the one woman. She was kind of crazy, but basically he kept doing it for a while. She's like, I'm crazy. I'll cut my bangs. I swear to God, I'll do it. I'll cut my bangs. I can't remember who that is now. But
did you watch the series on the O.J. Simpson trial?
No, I need to though. I'd like to.
It's on my to-do list. Also, it's supposed to be fascinating. It reviewed really well.
Yeah, real well. If the glove don't fit, you must have quit. As a hospital finds 30,000 old masks residents sew on new elastic. It says in Memphis, Baptist Hospital found 30,000 old masks in storage, but all the elastic had rotten. Hundreds of Memphis residents are now sewing new elastic to them so that they can be used in the hospital.
Wow.
See, that's innovative. That's kind of cool. That's one of those
little always
tidbits.
step up. If they're called to service, people will show up.
Yeah, and you know what? Props to the person that saw them and said, hey, I'm going to tell somebody about this. Hey, you know we got 30,000 old ones. And the person didn't say, what the hell, throw them out. This is, hey, let's see what we can do to use them. So that's pretty cool. And here's to round out our 11 o'clock here in our show, Wacky But True. Newborn twins that were born were named Corona and COVID.
Oh, no.
A boy and a girl born in the midst of India's coronavirus lockdown have been named after the deadly virus. The parents of COVID and Corona hope the twins' names will serve as a reminder as the hardships they overcame as they were brought into the world during the pandemic. But the couple from Raipur say they might change their minds later and rename the children. Let's hope they do. Let's hope they do.
I don't know that that's what I'd want to be saddled with everywhere I went for the rest of my life, to be reminding people of this.
Yeah, and that's a little crazy. But, well, there you go, folks. That gives you something to talk about and something else to drum up in lieu of the novel coronavirus as we're making our way here now towards the end of the show. AM Ocala Live. I want to thank Lena. Thank you for staying in with us as we bring you in for community events, but as most of them are usually canceled, you do a good job of bringing us some other information that's just as useful, and thanks for being my counterpart today and hanging in there. As we do round out today, AM Ocala Live, beautiful weather day here towards the mid-80s and some partly sunny skies, so enjoy that, folks, as stay tuned for tomorrow, Tuesday, as of course we'll have Carol Ann Baldwin to talk in some gardening and Matt Gibbs auto repair with personal care as you're listening to The Source, WOCA Ocala, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. And remember, we're always streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. And until tomorrow, goodbye.
I'm Chris Foster. The number of deaths reported with the new coronavirus in the United States is approaching 10,000. Signs of progress in Spain.